Hello, welcome to our qigong session, Tai Chi for Health session this afternoon. So my name is Stella and I teach Shibashi Qigong. Shibashi Qigong is a really lovely breath exercise and it's really gentle. It's just a way of moving the body to help our energy flow, to bring some balance. By balance, I mean inner balance with our energies. So it's very grounding. For example, if we're very up in our head, thinking, or very anxious, which many of us are, that's something that a lot of people struggle with, myself included. This practice is really good at bringing that energy down and balancing. So qigong is part of Tai Chi. You've probably heard of Tai Chi. More people have heard that term than they have qigong. So Tai Chi is like the umbrella. Qigong is a part of Tai Chi, but it's the very gentle, well-being, spiritual side, opposed to the more intense martial arts side. And Tai Chi is all about balancing opposites. If you know the yin and the yang symbol, we've got the light and the dark, and they come together. It's about opposites and bringing that balance within all of us. We've all got these opposite energies, the push and the pull, the up and the down, the light and the dark, and it's about bringing it all into one balance. And most of us are out of balance. We'll come out of balance throughout the day. That's part of being human. But we want these tools like qigong to help bring ourselves into balance. Okay, so hopefully you're feeling ready, maybe in need of some balance today, feeling ready to explore this with me. If you're coming back, if you've shared qigong with me before, it's lovely to have you join again. You obviously have an idea about what to expect. Perhaps you practiced Tai Chi or Qigong before in your life, and this might be your first time with me. So there'll be things that you'll pick up maybe more easily, but it might be a bit different to what you've done before. It might be even more gentle. And if you're brand new, if you've never tried Qigong or Tai Chi and you're not even sure what to expect, welcome. You're in the right place. This is perfect for beginners. So Shibashi Qigong, the set one we're going to do, and a few other moves today are really accessible. You can do it standing or seated. Some of the moves might need to be adjusted, but this is about connecting with your body, listening to what feels good for you. You're not pushing, we're not really stretching and pushing our shoulders or our back, for example. If you've got a backache, if something feels uncomfortable, then don't do it or miss it out. Okay. We say in Qigong, if you could do 100%, bring yourself back to 70. And part of the philosophy of that is it's sustainable. We don't want to over push and wear ourselves out. We want to make sure that we are cultivating energy, which is what we'll be doing together as we get the qi flowing, but also making sure we bank that energy in our dantian, which is this place just under the navel, to store it for the rest of the day and the week and the things that we need to do in the world. Okay. So before we go into a bit more of the details and the practicals, as I said, my name is Stella. I love qigong. It's been such a big part of my life. I practice it every day, Tai Chi and Qigong. I'm a student ongoing as well as an instructor, a teacher. And it's been a godsend in terms of me continuing to move my body every day. Even when I'm not up to doing more extreme exercise, I can move, a little with the movements that I'm going to show you today. And we really benefit a lot. Okay, so key things you need for the session are, it would be great to have some water to hand if you can. This is kind of thirsty work. It's healing work. So if you go for a massage, we talk about to support the healing, to drink lots of water and fluids to help the body detox. It's the same for Qigong. So drink plenty of water after the session mainly, but it's good to have it there. And also I want you to make sure you've got enough space. So I know we're working with whatever space we have at home, and you can adapt the moves if you don't have as much space. But ideally, we want to be able to stretch our arms up, out, and not worry about hitting anything or anyone. If you are doing this standing, and you might be a bit wobbly with some of the moves, because some we go on our tiptoes, it's really good to have a chair just near or in front of you. So for some of the moves, you might want to hold the chair. If you have a wobble, it's there for you to lean on if you need to. So do what you need to do. Sensible shoes, whether you're in socks, barefoot, or you're wearing shoes, just make sure they're safe, you're not going to slip, they're appropriate. And if you are going to do it seated, you might be doing some seated, some standing, depending on your energy levels or any conditions you might have. Also, you might do the whole thing seated and might be using a wheelchair. So making sure that ideally you don't have arms on the chair. I know sometimes we can't avoid that, but if you can remove the arms or have a chair without arms, that's ideal. If you do have arms, then just adjust the moves to make sure you're not hitting or hurting. Make them a bit smaller and make it work for you. If you are seated, then I want you just to make sure that you're sitting on your chair with a nice straight back. So you probably want to be edge to the front of the chair, not slouching like this, a nice straight back, and your feet touching the floor where possible, or touching the pedals, the steps on your wheelchair, ideally nice and flat. Again, if that is possible for you. All right. So we're going to begin by doing some stretches. I always do this, it's to wake the body up. So initially, we're just going to do some tapping. So I want you to cup your hands slightly. It's not flat. You've got a slight indent here. This is all about helping the chi flow. We're going to start tapping here, this point just in the center of your chest. Take some nice deep breaths. So part of what we're doing today is connecting with your breath, your breathing. Qigong is a breath exercise. That's ultimately what it is. So we're cultivating that breath through your system to help everything flow and move. Qi is your life force energy. So Qigong, Tai Chi originates from China, and it's been going for so long. It's like a health system in its own right. It's not just an exercise. It's always been considered a health system to take care of the mind, body, and soul. So there's a lot going on in this practice, but actually it's really simple as a beginner. It just becomes more, there's more depth to it the more that you practice and the more you learn. So tapping this point is really good for the immune system. I tap this point every day to support my immune system. I really encourage you to do the same. I'm going to tap down the arm and tapping the hands at the end. And coming back up the arm, I want you just to hold your elbow as you do this. So we're just supporting the elbow to tap the upper back, coming back down around the chest, back down the arm. Tapping again, and back up. Holding that elbow, supporting yourself to pat the other shoulder, upper back, coming down. Nice deep breath. Just because it can be nice to release some of any stuck chi energy in our throat in this area, we're going to take a breath together. And just breathe out, making the sound ah. Might feel silly. If you're on your own, it doesn't matter. And we'll do that once more. Sometimes we might notice a crackle in our voice. That's a sign that there is a bit of a block there, a bit of chi energy block. So it's really good just to help it all flow and move. It's all part of finding our voice. And if you feel uncomfortable doing that, then just notice it. It's okay. You don't have to do anything you don't want to in this session. It's really important that you're comfortable. And we're going to tap around the belly. So again, with the cupped hands, all over. Sometimes it feels nicer to rub it. It depends how sensitive your stomach is feeling today. So you can give it a nice rub, or you can have a nice tap. Okay, now we're going to do a few points around the head. So I want you just to start with using your fingertips. So we're just going to do like this, little raindrops with the fingers. And I want you to begin to tap around your neck. So nice and gentle. And become aware of your shoulders. You might start to realize your shoulders are really tense. This is really common at this point. And I want you just to see if you can release a few % of that tension from your shoulders. It doesn't need to be huge amounts. Regular students are used to me saying this all the time. A few percent softening the body is enough to help that chi flow, it's enough for change. Bringing the fingers up the back of the head and on top, so just making those raindrops all around the top. Coming down to the forehead. Now we're going to do some points around the face. So where your eyebrows begin, just here, we call that the inner eyebrow. We're just going to tap there, and I want you to take a nice deep breath. Outer eyes, just on the outside of either eye. If you're wearing glasses, you might need to just adjust them if you can. Nice deep breath. Underneath the eyes. Nice deep breath. Under the nose. So these are some of the acupressure points that we use when I do emotional freedom technique sessions, which I also do at the Virtual Village Hall. Underneath the mouth, above the chin. And it's all about helping that chi flow around the meridian system. The meridians are like these streams that we have around our system, connected to everything, our organs, our emotions, and different elements. And we want them to flow as clearly as possible. Okay, now we're going to use these fingers and we're just going to tap around the neck. And I want you to come up to the jaw. So it's really common for us to hold tension in the jaw. Hopefully, you'll become more aware of where you hold tension. So in this session, if you notice you feel more tense, it's probably because you're just aware of it. And we need to be aware of it in order to let it go. So it's not a bad thing. And we just want to start by tapping this around our jaw, becoming aware of any tension we might be holding. We can massage it as well, just to help it let go of some of that tension it might be holding. Sometimes we're not sure. We might not feel that connected with our body, and that's okay too. If you feel unsure, that's okay. It's actually quite natural. A lot of people have that experience. And then just massage your earlobes. So if you've ever had reflexology, all the points in the feet, you'll know how important they are, how many there are, connected to all these different points around the body. It's the same with the ears. We've got lots of acupuncture points around the ears. Okay, good. So we'll just do a few stretches. We don't need to do many stretches because we want to really get the best out of the qigong, as in to spend the time really practicing the qigong moves today. They'll help stretch your body anyway. But we do a few stretches at least, because that helps us work out some of that tension that I've been talking about. And the more relaxed you are throughout the actual qigong set, the more chi will flow, the more health benefits you're going to get, mind, body, soul. So interlock your fingers and make sure your shoulders are as relaxed as they can be. Your arms are as soft as they can be. And begin to rotate your wrists. The stretches that I share are Chen Tai Chi stretches. They're traditional stretches that are used by the Chen family in China. My Chen Tai Chi teacher teaches them to me every week. And the Chen family are the original Tai Chi family. So there's lots of different schools of Tai Chi. It's developed in different ways. But the Chen family is the original family. And the other way. And the stretches are designed to be a bit tricky for the brain. So if you're finding this a bit awkward or strange, then that's completely normal. Please don't worry, it really takes a lot of practice for this to become automatic. Okay, now we're going to do a nice stretch at the bottom and come up the other way. So you want this to be up and down your center line, not all over the place like this, up and down. Shoulders nice and relaxed, arms almost floppy. So really just nice, floppy, soft movement. And the other way, that's the bit that usually makes bit of a challenge for the brain. With Tai Chi, it's all about continuously challenging the brain to keep learning and evolving. Even the Tai Chi masters, they're always learning. That's part of the philosophy of it. Nobody finishes or gets there with Tai Chi. It's a lifelong journey. Good. Let's work out some of the tension in the shoulders. So remember, listen to your body, be careful in your space. We're going to pop our thumb and our fingers together, nice and soft and gentle. We're placing them here, so just under the collarbone. And we're going to take a breath in as we lift up and breathe out as we come down. So I'm standing, I'm stretching out my legs as I come up, and I'm bending and softening my knees a little as I come down. It's nice and subtle. It just helps with the movement. Try not to tense up your shoulders as you do this. It can be really automatic to bring tension, but remember, we want to release some of that tension. Partly we're wearing the shoulders out a bit, so they have to go down. It's almost like they're too tired to hold that tension. And the other way. Okay. Now we're going to alternate. So this is about connecting the turn in our waist with the turn in the arm and the elbow. We turn the waist and we bring the elbow back. So they're moving together and we alternate as if we're rowing backwards. So what we're not doing is keeping our body still and just doing this. That's not Tai Chi. What we're doing is we're connecting that waist movement with the elbow. And if you don't get that at first, it's okay. For a lot of us, it can be a really alien way to move the body. Most of us who have probably been raised in a Western culture, moving the body in a certain way, Tai Chi can be quite different. And the other way, keeping that connection between the turn in the waist, bringing that arm forwards. Okay, give your shoulders a bit of a shake. Okay, we're going to place one hand on the hip and one over the head. Just going to stretch, feel that nice stretch up the side. If you have space to do this safely, you can swing your arm and come back over. And the other side. Good, okay. Now we're going to pop one hand up to the shoulder and we're going to face the palm up. We're going to bring the palm up. We're keeping a slight softness in the arm, so it's not straight. It's not a right angle, it's got a slight bow shape. Turn the hand over. Turn the waist as we bring the arm back and then feed it through. So just do it really slowly as you get the hang of it. It's that turn in the waist that brings the arm back and forwards. Just growing your connection between the waist and the arm through these different movements. Going to go up to the other side, doing the same. So once you get the hang of it, then do these checks. Check that your shoulder is down. Your arm is as soft and yin as possible. Remember that just softening your shoulder, your arm, a few percent is enough. When I say nice and yin, do you remember the Tai Chi symbol, the yin and the yang I mentioned at the start? Yin is that soft, gentle energy. So we want that in the arm as we do these movements. Okay, give the shoulders a shake. Okay, bringing your fists together. We don't clench them tight though, nice and soft, keeping that softness, that yin. We're going to do 2 jabs with the elbow. 1, 2. We're going to bring our palms up and open a bit higher. 1, 2. Okay, so elbow jabs. 1, 2. Open palms. 1, 2. Go with the natural bounce of your body. Don't over push or overstretch. It's a nice gentle stretch. Okay, let your arms hang by your side. So this move, this stretch, this is one of the best, I think. This is one of my favorites. If you take one stretch away today, this is the best one, I think. So it helps us just get the body moving. It has the Tai Chi awareness and connection. And it also really helps us to loosen things up and become a bit aware of the energy around us. So we have our arms as floppy as possible to set that intention to soften the arms, let go of any control or tension in them. They're just hanging by your side. And we begin to turn the waist side to side. And we focus on controlling the turn in the waist, and the arms just follow. So we're not doing this. And if you are doing that, it's okay, because it takes time to reprogram the body to soften. But the more you do this move, the easier it becomes. So if you are finding you've got that tension and stiffness in your arms and it's hard to let go, practice this move for a few minutes every day, and you'll see that development. You'll see how you'll become softer, you'll become better, it'll become easier for you to relax and just let the arms wrap around you. So remember, it's just that turn in the waist. So if you turn quicker, your arms wrap around you more. And they begin to tap these different points around your body, which is helping to wake things up as well, to get your qi flowing. When we say qi, we just mean life force energy. Qi makes up everything. We all have qi, but not all of us have vibrant and healthy qi. We really want to make sure we're taking care of it, helping it move, flow, making sure it doesn't get stuck or any blocks, which does happen. And we're going to now, with a cupped hand, just bend our elbow and slap our upper arm. And even further, if it's comfortable. So this is one of the moves that obviously you need to adapt or be careful with, depending on your position. As in, if you're seated, it might not be possible. Depends what you're sitting on. So just making it appropriate for you. And you can have a play, so you can slow the waist down and the arms will naturally stop, and then you speed it up and the arms go again. Almost testing yourself to make sure that you are not cheating and you've got that connection. Okay, good. We're going to just work up the neck a little bit. So looking to one side, doesn't matter which. And when your neck reaches that point where it doesn't want to go any further, just let your eyes look back as far as possible, giving them a nice stretch. Coming back in. We're going to do the same on the other side. We take the eyes for granted most of the time. We don't do much for them, so we're just giving them a nice stretch. And gently looking up, gently looking down. Placing the hands on your lower back, we're going to just make little circles with the waist, starting small, keeping the head relatively central, making sure it's the hips that are doing the movement. circles are getting bigger. And then begin to wind back in again. And when you reach the center, start to wind out the other way. I'm in Norfolk and the sun has just come out today, which is so nice after our not such nice weather at the start of the week. I can see a blue sky, which is lovely. I hope it's okay where you are. Winding back in again. Okay, and we're just going to shake out some of that tension. So the tension that's leaving the body, we can help it do so by just shaking. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to just have a sip of water and then we can go into the Shibashi qigong. So I'll give you the main points just to focus on and remember. I'll talk you through it and you can follow me. But the main thing is, it's not about getting it perfect. This is about being kind to yourself. Really, the essence of qigong, for me, one of the things I love is it is very gentle, and I think it really is about self-compassion. So it's not about pushing. It's about slowing down, being with our body. It's kind of a meditation, a mindfulness, which is really beneficial, as we know, for stress and all kinds of issues that we might experience. So yes, try not to bully yourself into getting things perfect. Just give it a go and be willing to sink a bit deeper into your body. Whatever that means for you, you might not be sure, and that's okay. It's a practice that has lots of layers to it. So the more we do it, the deeper it becomes, the deeper that connection becomes. Okay. Okay, so before we go into just getting the stance and making sure that we're comfortable, key things. With qigong, we want to make sure that we're putting the breath first. By that, I mean our body movements should be adjusted to match our breathing. So if we're breathing in, we're lifting the arms. When the lungs are full, we should have finished that move. We breathe out, the hands go down, and then the lungs should be empty at the bottom. We don't want to be holding, changing the breath. We want to change and adjust our movements to flow with the breath. We want the shoulders to be as down as possible, and it might take time for that to happen, like I said. I'll remind you to keep softening that few percent at a time. It can really help to imagine the air around you is really thick, so you can't move quickly. You don't want to disturb it. You have to move really gentle and really set that intention for yourself, being super graceful, super gentle, even if that seems really strange and that's not something that you usually do. Just give it a go. Okay, so making sure your feet are about shoulder width apart. So this is for those that are standing. To find your position can help to place your hands on your hips. And you can just, so what we want is it's almost like we've got a little softness in our knees, but we don't want to be leaning forwards or leaning back like this. And quite often people will have, they'll tend to go one way or the other. So to help us find that balance, we can rock backwards and forwards on our feet just a little to find what feels like a central point. It might feel a bit strange if it's not your usual central point, if you're usually off balance. I tend to lean forwards a bit, so I find this useful just to bring myself into center. You want a bit of a softness in the knees, as I mentioned, so they're not locked out. You might need to readjust and find your stance throughout the session, and that's okay. So feet shoulder width apart, arms hanging by your side. Imagining you've got a string coming up from the top of your head, keeping your posture nice and tall. For qigong, we usually want a soft gaze ahead. Sometimes people close their eyes when they're really into it, and that's okay too. Whatever feels good for you. Arms nice and soft by your side. Feeling your feet on the ground, assuming they are on the ground. And if they're not, see if you can connect with, if you feel your feet, if you can feel them, connect with that sensation of what's underneath them, or imagining the connection. That can help too. If there's any movements that you can't do, or parts of your body you can't move or feel, you can still benefit from this practice. It's the meditation, you can imagine it. The body doesn't know the difference in many ways, so you'll still get a benefit. Okay. And just let yourself make sure you're comfortable, that you've got that balance right. You might lean forwards and back, feeling your feet on the earth, the ground, softening the knees slightly. And we're going to do some nice deep breaths together. So place a hand on your chest, on your heart, and one on your belly. This is just to help us reset our breathing, to calm the nervous system, to help us prepare for the practice. In a moment, we'll take 4 nice deep breaths in and out together. Breathing in through the nose and feeling this hand on your belly inflate like it's a balloon. The hand on your chest shouldn't be doing much. We want to make sure these are nice, deep belly breaths. We're going to hold it at the top and we're going to release it with a big sigh, just to let it all go and feel that belly deflate. So breathing in, inflating the belly. Hold. And release. 3 more. Let out a sigh. Might feel silly, but it will feel good. Be good for you. One more. Good. Okay. Bringing the arms by your side. We're going to start the first move, which is called commence. Breathing in, floating up your hands with the breath. And breathing out and letting the hands float down. Making sure your shoulders are as soft as they can be. Your arms are as yin, as relaxed as possible. Okay, opening chest, moving slightly quicker as we cover more ground, because we want to make sure we match our breath. Breathing out. So breathing in, open the chest, breathing out as we come in. Down. Okay, bringing the hands up your center line. Placing one above your head, so there's a slight gap. It's not completely on top, there's a slight gap. Placing the other one out nice and flat. This is called dancing with rainbows. Breathing in, we swap the arms. And we breathe out the other way. So we're looking at that outstretched hand. See if you can soften your shoulders a few percent more. Try not to build up too much tension as you do this. Coming down into circling arms. Breathing in, circling the arms, and out as we come down. So really let your hands lead the way. The shoulders, the arms can soften and relax. You can focus on your hands, the palms of your hands perhaps. Breathing in as you come up, breathing out as you come down. Bringing the hands in front of you. So this is a good time to remember what you learned in the stretches about the waist and the arm. We're going to breathe in as we turn your waist, bring the arm back. Breathe out as you come forward, swimming through the air. Other side, in and out. In, turning that waist. And out as you come forwards, turning the waist back. And do your checks. Can you soften a few percent more in your shoulders and your arms? That air around you that's really thick. You don't want to disturb it, so you move really gently. Keeping the arms out in front of you. Rowing a boat, palms up. Breathe in all the way up and breathe out as you come down. So from the side, it looks like this. And as you breathe out and let go, really just let everything relax. You can let your body become heavier as you breathe out. It's that grounding energy. So you open with the breath, and then you let it all go and sink into the earth. Okay, arms by your side. We're going to lift ball. So we're turning the waist again. Diagonally, we're lifting the arm as we breathe in. You can lift the heel up too, breathing out as we come down. So lifting this invisible ball of energy on the palm of the hand, turning it over and floating it down. The ball is really light. It just doesn't weigh a thing. Easy to lift and to float. That turn in the waist brings the arm up and it brings it back down. Bring in your arms to make this sphere. So this is called carrying moon. I want you to imagine you're holding this sphere, this huge circle, this moon of energy. And really, we want to make sure we keep this connection between the hands. Some of us are more in tune with this connection energy than others, so don't worry if you don't feel it. But you might feel this connection. It might feel like a tingling, a warmth and energy. Just imagine it if you don't feel it, that you're holding this moon here, our lower dantian, this place just under our navel. We're going to breathe in as we lift up the moon into the sky, keeping that connection between your hands, breathing out as you come down. Other side. In, out. In, out. You can lift up your heel as you lift the moon, if that's something you want or can do. Let your arms hang by your side. This time we take a breath in and then we breathe out as we turn the waist and push the palm. We're keeping that softness in the elbow, breathing in as we come in. out, turn the waist, twist, breathe in. So we keep that softness in the elbow, we don't lock it out. That's to help the chi flow around your body. Remember to keep these breaths nice, deep belly breaths. Make sure you're not shallow breathing from your chest. That will make you feel more anxious. Nice, deep breaths will help you feel nice, relaxed and calm. Okay, we're going to go into playing with clouds. So bringing our arms up one above the other, making sure our shoulders are as soft as they can be, releasing a few percent of tension in our arms. I want you to make sure you keep these hands on the center line. So what we're not doing is we're not going to turn and then keep the arms going. We're keeping the connection between the hands and the center line. Turning the waist to one side. When the waist reaches its natural point, it doesn't want to go any further, swap hands over, go the other way. So really make sure you don't overturn. That's usually where we trip up with this. It can be really subtle. Small turn in the waist, stop, swap your hands, and focus on that top hand for meditation. Softening the shoulders a few percent more. Softening the arms a few percent more. Making it as graceful as you can. Playing with the clouds. So I'm going to skip a few moves in this set because I want to do some different moves with you at the end, just to keep it different for those that are used to doing the Shibashi set one. Okay, so we're going to bring our arms to our side, bringing our fists together. Remember, we don't clench, it's really soft, really loose. Breathing in, and as we breathe out, we're going to punch in front nice and slow, keeping a softness in the elbow, breathing in. Other side, out, in, in. And see if you can soften your hands even more. Release any more tension. So we're releasing layer upon layer, becoming aware, softening the body a few percent at a time. Arms by your side. We're going to do flying goose. So you can go on your tiptoes for this if you want to. Remember to have a chair nearby if you need it. Obviously, if you're seated, then you don't need to worry about that. So you can keep feet flat or go on your tiptoes, breathing in, opening up your wings, breathing out as you come down. And you want to be in control of this move. In. So if you are on your tiptoes, you don't want to be having a wobble. You want to come down nice and slowly. This is usually a really popular move. We all connect with different ones. This is nice if you're feeling overwhelmed or stressed. Just doing a few of these, connecting with your breath, breathing in as you come up, breathing out as you come down, in and out. in, out. One more. Okay, feet flat. We're going to do spinning wheel. Taking a breath in, all the way up. Follow the wheel with your eyes. Breathe out, keeping your eyes at eye level so we're not looking down. So this is a nice stretch. Qigong is designed to stretch the body. So it's a really good multi-layered exercise. It's really more than an exercise, as I said earlier. We're going to reach that central lower dantian point, and we're going to go the other way in, looking up, breathing out as we come down. In and out. In let your arms hang by your side at the end of that. Okay, we're going to do bouncing ball. This is one of the more challenging moves, particularly for balance. So you can keep your feet in contact with the ground the whole time and just lift up your heel, or you can lift up your whole leg off the ground. It will become clear. So we lift up one hand as we breathe in, and we lift up the alternate knee. So breathing in, breathing out as we come down. In, out. Make sure you've got a chair nearby if you need it. As you can see, I'm lifting my whole foot off the ground, but you don't need to. And if you're seated, just make sure you've got that straight back. Listen to your body. You might just lift up the hands, that's fine. If you're not lifting up your legs, that's okay. On the side. So breathing in as we come up, breathing out as we come down. In, out. Okay, we're going to do pressing palms, fingers together, breathing in, turning over at the chest, breathing out. So this is the last move of the set one, Shibashi. So really we're just balancing all of our energy. And we have to move slower because we're covering less ground. Arms by your side. Okay, we're going to do a move called moving energy up the microcosmic orbit. I know it's a bit of a mouthful to say. So we're going to bring our palms together. They're not completely flat. We've got a slight gap in between. Again, it's for that chi flow to help that energy move. Key things with this move, make sure your shoulders don't creep up too much as we do this. Invite them to be as soft and relaxed as they can be. The same with your arms. So we're going to take a breath in as we come up. And we face the fingers up. We breathe out as we come down. I'll show you from the side. So breathing in and breathing out. In. So you can see it's easy to build up that tension. So you need to be really focused and conscious, telling your shoulders to stay relaxed as much as possible. Softness in your arms. Connecting with your breath. Good. Okay, now we're going to go all the way up, breathing in, up, and breathing out. So it's as if we're swimming upwards, breathing in, all the way, looking up, breathing out, and letting everything relax and sink down. One more. Letting your arms hang by your side. Bringing your feet together. Rubbing your palms together. Building up some of that chi. We're going to rub the lower dantian. So this really, the lower dantian is your energy source. It's where we bank all that chi. It's your energy center. We want it to be full of vitality and life. So we're just giving that some love. I'm rubbing it into my belly as well because it just feels nice. So just give your body a bit of love and support, nourishment. Keep up the breaths, nice steady breaths. And we're going to rub the kidney points, the lower back. So as the weather gets colder, it can be a bit of a shock to the body, such as the kidneys, as we step outside sometimes. The difference between hot and cold. So it's really important to protect those parts of our body. And finally, brushing off some of that negative stagnant chi that's come up from the marrow of the bones. This is what they do in the Chen village, practicing every day, the masters, to make sure we don't reabsorb any of that negative stagnant energy or chi that we've just released from your system. I know it can sound a bit out there for some of us, but just have a go. Brushing the outside of the legs if you can, and the inside. And just popping one fist in your hand. Thank you so much for sharing the class with me today. I think it's a perfect way to sort of end a Friday and the week doing some qigong. So I would love to see you again for another session. Please do come along. I'll also be doing some EFT tapping sessions later in the month as well. So I look forward to sharing those with you. Make sure you drink plenty of water. Remember, help the detoxing, help yourself heal. Listen to your body. So you might feel like you need to rest, or you might feel like you have more energy. It can go either way. So just listen to what feels right for you. And if you take a few moves away, remember that stretch where you just let the waist turn, the arms flop. That's a good one. And also whatever move you've connected with, but this is a nice one to take away and to help you feel nice and calm, softening the body that few percent, becoming aware of where you might be holding tension, seeing if it will soften just 2% at a time, and making sure you adjust the moves to match your breath. That's all you need to do, just a few moves a day to begin and to make it manageable. If you want to do more, great. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you so much and have a lovely weekend.